This is the little-told David versus Goliath story of the opening events of the Battle of Midway, one of the most decisive naval victories in American history, and three overlooked heroes, Navy torpedo plane commanders, John Waldron, Gene Lindsay, and Lem Massey. A young John Waldron visits Wounded Knee, the site of the 1876 battle between a Sioux Indian tribe and the U.S. Cavalry.
Mother, what is a Medal of Honor?
John, the Medal of Honor is the highest medal awarded for acts of valor above and beyond the call of duty in combat. John, if you can believe it, 19 Medals of Honor were awarded to United States soldiers in what turned out to be a massacre of our Lakota Sioux tribe, an insult to our honor and heritage.
Young Waldron is silent in his thoughts, his mind wrestling internally between his heritage and his country. No Navy combatants were awarded the Medal of Honor for Midway, the most important victory in U.S. naval history. Waldron and his squadron of obsolete, torpedo-armed planes were the first to find and attack the mighty Japanese aircraft carrier fleet. His audacious attack alerted fellow torpedo plane commanders Eugene Lindsay and Lem Massey to launch attacks also without fighter protection. All three commanders lost their lives in the ensuing attacks, and 42 of their 47 torpedo bombers were destroyed. The American victory at Midway has been celebrated over the years by historians, filmmakers, and the media as an incredible victory and the miracle at Midway. Like most battles in history, luck and chance certainly played a role in the outcome at Midway. But the initiative, courage, and sacrifice by Waldron, Lindsay, and Massey mark the difference between victory and defeat. The events that unfolded in this epic battle resembled a game of dominoes, with John Waldron the first to knock down successive dominoes towards victory. This is the story of John Waldron, call sign Johnny 1, and two fellow Navy pilots and their courageous sacrifice, which led to, arguably, the most important naval victory in U.S. history. June 4th, 1942. The day dawns bright and sunny over an azure Pacific. Approaching Midway Atoll from the northwest is the mighty Japanese Imperial Fleet, led by its four superb aircraft carriers, collectively known as Kido Butai. Standing in the way of this overwhelming enemy force, unknown to the enemy strike force, is an outnumbered American Navy, lying undetected to the northeast of Midway and in extreme striking distance of Kido Butai. The Americans are outnumbered in aircraft carriers, 3, saddled with inferior fighters, dive bombers, torpedo bombers with slow and erratic torpedoes, and critically, combat experience. The U.S. Navy has only one advantage: superior intelligence. Thanks to code breaking, it knows the Japanese battle plan and rough location of their divided forces. The enemy is unaware of our fleet's presence. Onto this world stage strode John Waldron, age 42, born of humble means in South Dakota, with Sioux Indian blood in his veins and an absolute love of family and country in his soul. In 1941, Waldron was given command of Squadron TBD Devastator torpedo bombers, Torpedo 8, stationed on the carrier Hornet. Saddled with these slow and poorly armed torpedo bombers and a roster of newly winged pilots, with little time to prepare them for war, Waldron worked his command hard, but with a sense of humor and a flair for the dramatic. His men revered him, referring to him affectionately as the Indian. Accompanying the Hornet were carriers Enterprise and Yorktown, containing torpedo squadrons 6 and 3, led by Eugene Lindsay and Lem Lym Massey. The first domino fell the morning of June 4th. Before taking off from his carrier, Hornet, around 8 a.m., Waldron strenuously disputed the intercept course to Quito Butai with his air commander, Stanhope Ring. Shortly after takeoff, Waldron broke formation from Hornet's Spider and dive bombers and followed his calculated course. At 9:20 a.m., Waldron discovered Quito Butai, exactly where he had calculated. For the next 17 minutes, he led Torpedo 8 in a low-level attack on the carrier Soryu. All 15 of his torpedo bombers were shot down, and not a single torpedo scored a hit against the Soryu. 29 of 30 Torpedo 8 airmen, including Waldron, lost their lives. The second domino to fall occurred around 9:40. After spotting the smoke and anti-aircraft fire from Torpedo 8's valiant attack on the Soryu, Torpedo 6, led by Lieutenant Commander Eugene Lindsay from the carrier Enterprise, approached Quito Butai from the south. Lindsay and second-in-command Lieutenant Arthur Ely focused their torpedo attacks on the carrier Kaga. However, one by one, 10 of 14 Torpedo 6's planes were splashed by AA fire and relentless attacks from enemy Zero fighters. Only 4 made it back to the carrier Enterprise. The third domino to fall occurred around 10:10. Lym Massey, Lieutenant Commander of Torpedo 3 from the carrier Yorktown, chose to attack first the Soryu, then the distant-most carrier Hiryu. Escorted by just a handful of American fighters, Massey's squadron flew through intense AA fire and a hornet's nest of Japanese Zero fighters. 10 of 12 of Torpedo 3's bombers were lost. Massey was last seen standing up in his cockpit as his burning plane dropped to the water. In all, 42 of 47 torpedo bombers and their 3 commanders were lost. But their attack on Quito Butai redirected our dive bombers to the scene, resulting in the destruction of 3 enemy carriers. The 4th carrier, Hiryu, was sunk the next day. These first 3 dominoes caused a succession of American dominoes to fall, leading to our historic victory.
If John Waldron had not started the series of events that followed his attack, the battle would have been either a draw or the United States would have lost terribly. He attacked at just the right time when Japanese were refueling and rearming their planes. They had to cease operations, cause chaos in the Japanese side. The Japanese CAP, which is a carrier air patrol, came down to attack, leaving the sky completely open. After that event, the smoke put up by that attack led to the next torpedo bombers to come in and do the same thing, and they got shot to pieces also. And then the third group came in, and they got shot up to pieces. And the Japanese CAP was running around at sea level. A bunch of guys, Japanese pilots, high-fiving each other, thinking that they'd won the battle. And dive bombers came in and took out 3 carriers within minutes.
In all, these 3 torpedo squadrons suffered catastrophic losses in attacking Quito Butai. But their sacrifices alerted our dive bombers up above to descend on and destroy 3 enemy carriers, and the 4th a day later. All 3 commanders died in the effort.
I'm retired Major Thomas Richlick. Since 2018, I have devoted myself to an effort to more appropriately recognize the incredible valor displayed by the Navy torpedo bomber squadrons, and particularly their commanding officers, Waldron, Lindsay, and Massey. We believe that recently discovered research and information that was not available at the time Waldron, Lindsay, and Massey were awarded Navy crosses support the award of posthumous medals of honor for these heroes in recognition of their actions that were above and beyond the call of duty.